Hello, everybody. Welcome to the HoopsCast. I am your host, Jacob, aka Rusty Buckets, joined by my co-host, Muhammad, aka Mojo99. Say what's up to the people, Mojo.
Mojo in the building once again, man. We gotta keep this thing on going.
All right, so we just watched Game 6 of the NBA Finals. So for this episode, we're going to give our reaction to the finals as a whole. But we're going to start you off by introducing ourselves. Obviously, a lot of the guys, probably most of the people coming to this channel already know about us. But you might not know of our introduction to basketball and how we became NBA YouTubers. So we're going to go into that. So, first things first, what we're going to go over in today's podcast, before we move on to NBA Finals talk, is we're going to talk about how we became NBA fans, so, as well as NBA YouTubers. So, I'm actually going to let Mojo go first, because I already know my story, and I'm interested in hearing his. So, you can start with...
know your story.
Yeah, duh. That's kind of how that works. So you can go with NBA fan and then YouTuber. Actually, you go. We'll go NBA fans for both of us, and then how we became YouTubers. So go with NBA fan first.
All right, so my NBA fan story is kind of a blur because at this time I was like 14 years old. It was 2014 and stuff like that. And around that time, the Hawks were starting. The Atlanta Hawks were starting to get good and stuff like that. And as for if you got a lot of you guys don't know, I live in Atlanta. I wasn't born here. I was born in North Carolina, but I've lived basically in Atlanta my entire life. So I was like kind of forced to be a Hawks fan, if you know what I'm saying. So
who the fuck
the
would
year
choose
2014.
that?
Yeah. So the year 2014. Oh wait, dude. Okay, here's the thing. Look, I declared myself as a free agent in the year 2014. I had two choices: either stan the Charlotte Hornets, and good lord, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not putting myself through that heartache.
You
So
made the better of the two choices, if those were the only two choices.
I'm being a Hawks fan, so I think I'm like looking at these two teams right now, these two rosters and stuff like that. I think I made the right decision. But anyways, what really caught my eye with the NBA and stuff like that, and what really like drawed me in was my second favorite player in the NBA, my favorite team, and also my favorite player right now, LeBron, Paul George, and the Atlanta Hawks. They're my favorite things in the NBA right now. So what originally caught my attention was the series that the Atlanta Hawks were playing in the playoffs against the Indiana Pacers, and we got our asses whipped because we didn't have our starting center, Al Horford, who was like on the verge of low-key starting. But I'm not about to get into that today. But since we so after watching that series, that kind of took my attention, and my passion for basketball ran away. No, fuck, man, god damn it, can you edit this shit out? Can you edit that shit out?
I don't know.
God
you fucking up is kind of funny.
Fuck that! No, bitch, take this shit out. So okay, back on topic. After watching that series, that's basically how I fell in love with basketball. Seeing my hometown team actually like do something good for once, and after that year, or maybe in that same postseason, I'm not even too sure. Fact check me if you want. That's when the LeBron Indiana that was like at the peak of the LeBron Indiana, the Miami Heat LeBron, of course, Indiana thing popped off, and that was an epic
Those
duel.
were some great underrated
like
battles.
Yeah, Paul George, when he was on the verge of being that dude up next to be the next superstar, top 3, top 5 player on the planet back then. But obviously you know how that shit went. Anyways, that is what like gained my attention and interest. Watching those two, LeBron and Paul George, go at it, that shit was goddamn inspiring, dude. That's what made me want to play basketball more. I was fat as shit back then, just letting you guys know, and I couldn't play basketball, but I played it a lot because of those two, and like that shit really just made me fall in love. And that's how I got into the NBA essentially.
Was there any particular game that you think had a huge impact, or was it just finally getting around to watching it?
Yeah, it was that one game. I can't tell you. It was in the Western Conference Finals. It was, of course, Miami versus Indiana, and there was this one moment. This is one of the most famous moments in like Western Conference history, if that's a thing. Paul George, he blew past by LeBron James, and then he hit this nasty ass cockback dunk on
Oh
Birdman
yeah.
Chris Anderson,
Oh
and then
yeah.
he had this mean ass flex to it at the end of that too, and
Yeah,
I
I'm
was like,
really
that,
visualizing it right now. I remember that play
yeah,
perfectly.
yeah, that moment right there, like, man, it was a that was the moment that made me like, okay, that made me figure out, okay, this was my sport. Fuck football.
So I became an NBA fan in 2013 when first series that I ever watched, or sorry, I watched for the 2013 season, like towards the second half of it, because my dad started getting me into basketball, or the NBA rather, and as we got into this series versus the Brooklyn Nets, and there was this particular game by Nate Robinson. I believe it was either game 4 or game 6. I'm pretty sure it was game 4. He had like 36 points, and he hit a game-winning shot, I think it was game-winning shot, it might have been game-tying, in overtime. That was essentially like a 20-foot floater, where he was like just barely like a foot into the three-point line. And the hype that I felt from that shot, I've never experienced that in any kind of sport, any kind of really viewing experience live. So that kind of just sparked my love for the game. And then I went on to watch the 2013 finals. And obviously, that's a great first finals to watch. And even though I was rooting for the San Antonio Spurs, the way that I felt about that Ray Allen corner three, the way that it just completely blew my mind, just pretty much hooked me to the sport in general. And actually, to put a perspective on just how fucking terrible my understanding of basketball was at the time and the NBA, I was legit like, why are the Heat starting Dwayne Wade over Ray Allen? Because Ray Allen's a better shooter. Because I literally did not understand. Because when I was growing up playing basketball, I was always the guy who shot the ball really well. So I was like, 3-point shooting is everything. Why isn't Ray Allen starting? I was ahead of the game on this shit. But yeah, definitely Wade should have been starting. But yeah, that Ray Allen corner three sealed it. The Nate Robinson game winner / game tying shot. I really should have researched it, but who gives a shit? That shot really sparked everything, and the Ray Allen shot sealed it for me. That really became me loving the NBA, even though I was unfortunate enough to be a Chicago Bulls fan.
Unfortunate.
So you can go with your story on how you became an NBA YouTuber.
Okay, so before I started, here's the thing. I when I walked into the NBA scene, the first like ever piece of NBA content that I would watch consistently wasn't no NBA creator. It was a show on NBA TV that's now being canceled. NBA, it's called NBA Starters. That was a show that I would watch consistently almost every day after school, and that kind of like got my mind jogging about basketball as a whole. And later on through that just like grew my passion for the sport and watching and shit like that. And then I started watching like NBA creators. But first it started out as like I would watch basketball videos and then expanded to NBA videos. So I would watch guys like Kick Genius at first, and then I'd watch guys like Chris Smooth. Those are like two goated OGs and shit like that. And then after that, I would elevate my contact selection and shit like that, and I would watch really SDC and Mike Korzemba. Those were the first like NBA creators I would watch, and I've always kept in the back of my head. I always wanted to do YouTube. YouTube was like one of my main entertainment sources when I was younger. I would barely watch TV because that shit was mid, and I would just be on YouTube like 90% of the time. And I always told myself that I wanted to be a creator of some sort, but I just didn't know what type of videos I wanted to make. And so as the years went on and shit like that, I was in high school. I never really got started on it. I've made like really random videos here and there, but like none serious and shit like that. So what the day I started YouTube was around this time 2 years ago. That's when I posted my my first video on YouTube saying that, oh yeah, I'm gonna make NBA videos and shit like that. And I also made a video on this channel saying that I would do, not on this channel, but my channel, that I would do vlogs too and shit like that, which I will do like later on throughout the future and shit like that.
I don't think I could ever do that.
Why?
I could not be
one
of those dipshits in public with like a fucking selfie stick and a camera, just like, hey, what's up, guys? We're over here.
That's shit. Cringe. That is cringe. I feel you. That is cringe. What's up, Jake Paul's ugly ass?
Oh,
that's cringe
no,
as fuck.
no. Fuck that guy.
Nah, it ain't gonna be like that. But I'm gonna try that shit one day because it's something I always wanted to do too and shit like that. So
I'm afraid I would just fucking copy Casey Neistat.
I feel, dog. So that's I posted my first video on my channel like 2 years ago and shit like that, and like it was right after I graduated high school. Actually, it was like a month or whatever after I graduated high school 2 years ago, and since I was like so freaking bored, I was like, and I had like, oh yeah, also throwing this in there, I moved into a house and shit like that. So I had my very own, this is like the second time in my life I had my own room and shit like that to myself where I could do my own thing. And I was like, okay, bet I don't have to share with nobody anymore and I can actually start doing shit. So that along with a couple other events pushed me to make YouTube videos. So I started, let me let you know some of the events that pushed me as well. I was bored and I got my heart broken by some female, which led me to I don't know. I just had to get my mind off of things. So that basketball was that for me, and I made videos talking about. Rusty, you know how my predictions are fucking crazy?
Yes.
Dude, I predicted the Carmelo Anthony thing happening, the Carmelo Anthony to OKC thing happening before it actually happened. Of 4 or 5 months before it happened. Just fucking crazy. So I made a video. I made little draft videos and shit like that, which is obviously my bread and butter. And I made random free agent videos and shit like that too. But I never really took it seriously or was consistent until I started college. And this is where shit turned left for me. So once I started college, I stopped making videos. I make maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that. I won't make them consistent at all, because my schedule was crazy at the time. But then out of nowhere, something happened to my college application. So that meant I had to stop going to college for a full semester. And I was like, fuck, shit, because that's what I really wanted to go to college and shit like that. And back then, my mental was, I was just focused on being on track with everybody else, or at least some of my peers and shit like that. When in reality, you shouldn't really want to do that shit anyways. So once my college application fell through, I was like, shit, I need to go ahead and fuck it, why not try out this YouTube thing for real and really apply myself and shit like that. And that's what I did. And after I gained 300 subscribers or some shit like that, I went out and bought a camera. And then after I bought a camera, I just was really focusing on bettering myself and also advancing my content and shit like that, because I really fell in love with this shit. There was one point in time where I would upload 3 videos in a day. I uploaded 4 videos in a day one time. They were short-ish videos. They're 5-minute, 6-minute videos talking about random shit, But I would upload sometimes 2 videos a day, at least 1 video every day at worst. That's what I did. That's why I have so many videos on my channel and shit like that, which I would delete, but I just like to have them up there, and I want to see people who want to do this shit when they see the growth and shit like that.
Well, also deleting videos fucks up your channel apparently. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah. I remember you told me you deleted some low quality videos or something like that.
And my channel died for 2 months right after.
Fucking damn! Holy shit! Yeah, that's.
And I resorted to making some clickbaity ass videos because I was desperate for fucking views, and they still were getting nothing.
Ah, man, yeah. So there's a tip out there. Do not delete any videos. You can put them on private at worst, but don't delete.
Yeah.
That's a tip out there to anybody making videos. So, yeah, I just fell in love with this shit like last year. Last year, like Christmas and like New Year's. Damn it. Fuck. Do you hear that?
No.
You don't hear that.
No.
Fuck, I think this audio, the camera may pick this up, though. It's going to pick it up, definitely.
So I can cut it out.
Alright, hopefully. Hopefully, dude. You're gonna hear this shit. Okay. Well, let me restart this cord. Okay, there we go. It's still on. So, yeah, sometime around like Christmas and New Year's Eve time, I was just really focused on this shit, and that's when I hit my first 1K subscribers, and I was fucking piped like shit, dude. I was so lit, and I was just focused on growth and development, not only for myself, but like, you know, on this YouTube shit too, because it was something that I really, really, really wanted to do, and shit like that. I want this to be like my job one day, you know, and yeah, that's how it went, and I'm still going today.
For me, what's funny is it wasn't a cause of it, but I did get broken up with just like you, like right before I started this shit.
Ironic as hell.
I had a girl break up with me on my 16th birthday.
On your
text.
That bitch. Fuck her. God damn it.
Yeah. It was also because I was born on leap day. So it was actually one of my few real birthdays.
Yeah, I remember.
So, sweet 16, real birthday, don't.
I remember that shit.
That was tough, but that wasn't an inspiration for me starting my channel, but I do think the boredom that came with that from the fucking loneliness was part of the spark of it.
Yeah.
So I also, like you, had grown up watching YouTube and had always wanted to do YouTube for a career, but I had just never seen an avenue. Couldn't do vlogging because one, I didn't want to do that shit in public, and two, I didn't think I would be able to be entertaining enough. My life is pretty boring. Two, gaming. Not very good at gaming, and I don't think I'm funny enough to do that consistently. I upload one gaming video like every 2 or 3 months because that's how fucking bad I am at making them. But so I couldn't do that, and then a bunch of other stuff like story time fucking shit. I have no stories to tell, so
Everybody got a story to tell.
I ain't got any. They have some crazy bullshit on those fucking channels, but couldn't fuck doing pranks, all that. I saw no avenue for me to do YouTube, but one day I discovered this channel called A Funky Diabetic that had about 3,000 subscribers, and he had this series on the Detroit Pistons. It was a My League, and I just admired so much the way that he did that My League realistically, and the way that he tried to apply a story to it, even if looking back at it, it kind of sucked a little bit. The Knicks series was what really sold me on his channel. That was great. But I started my YouTube channel after I'd watched those videos because I'm like, yeah, I want to do this shit because I think I could do My League really well. Because, you know, the future of doing My League on YouTube is a bright one. That's definitely a certified career right there. But eventually I moved on from My League. I deleted all of those videos, and I started making videos similar to Funky's now, where I'm talking about an NBA topic over 2K footage. But what am I trying to say here? I eventually moved on to using NBA footage for a long time, and then I started getting copyright claims, so that had to end. And I moved on to photos and stuff like it is now. But my first video was why Kawhi Leonard is a unique player, which is a very topical right now. But I made that towards the end of 2016, like in December, because I just gotten a microphone for Christmas, a $30 fucking microphone, and it was garbage. And that video got about 1,000 views in a week, which for a new channel is pretty damn good. And then I moved on to make a video. Next video I did was why can Harrison Barnes be a franchise player?
Yoinks.
Which that came out after Harrison had just signed with the Mavs and he'd been averaging like 20 points per game. So cut me some slack on that one. He was averaging 20 after over like 20 games. He looked like he would be decent. Not a franchise player though, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So the video after that I did why Kristaps Porzingis can be better than Dirk. And I don't know if I agree with that, but that video got 3,000 views in a couple of weeks. And I was like, oh shit, that's pretty damn good. And then I went on a couple more videos and I suddenly realized, because I had no idea what Social Blade was at the time, I suddenly realized going down my channel, oh wait, my Kawhi video has 20,000 views. So I had a pretty early success. I got to about 300 subscribers pretty damn quick. And then I spent an entire summer uploading pretty much daily. And this is when I was using NBA footage, so that's when it was easy to make videos because I could just record my voiceover and then put a mix over it. Mm-hmm. But I did that, and then my goal by the end of summer was to go from 300 subs to 1,000. And on the last day of my summer vacation, I hit it. I uploaded a video right after the Kyrie Irving trade called "What the Tough Decision the Cavaliers Must Now Make," and it was about the Cavs potentially trading the Brooklyn Nets pick. It's one of my top viewed videos on the channel with over 200,000 views now, and that got me to over 1,000 subscribers at the time. And then I've pretty much just been doing what I'm doing now and grinding really hard on it lately. So yeah, that's how I became an NBA YouTuber. It was always something I wanted to do. I finally found an avenue for it.
Oh, yeah, the first video that I ever watched... Damn, that's a loud-ass sound. Fuck, dude, you're gonna hear this shit. Alright, it just stopped. It's like the water fucking pump. Anyways, the first video that I ever watched of yours was the DeMarcus... It was a DeMarcus Cousins in a Cavs jersey. And it was talking about the Cavs pick, I think, or some shit like that.
Yeah, that was the video that I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's the one that got me over 1,000.
Yeah, that is insane.
It was a terrible fucking thumbnail. My Photoshop skills have gotten a lot better.
The shit was lit back then.
But yeah, I discovered your channel through watching MEO's Christmas special, the NBA Storyteller's Christmas special, which is a wild fucking video you should watch if you haven't yet. That has me and Mojo in it. But yeah, I didn't check out your channel after that, but like your shit started getting recommended to me, and I was like, ugh, fuck, I guess I'll watch this guy.
Yeah, ugh, fuck. What you mean? I guess that's a blessing, boy.
I was like, fine, this looks like a decent video. I'll watch it. It's good, So here we are now. But I wanted to go over to the origins of our names. I have a pretty unique one. I don't know about you, so you can
how rusty buckets become a thing? Like, you just look at a bucket, like, and then you're like, it's rusty. That's gonna be my YouTube channel. Like, what's up?
I'll go into that. You do yours first.
Me first? I want to hear you. Look, mine's just nice and simple. Okay, I want to hear yours.
Well, I want to hear yours.
All right, fine. I'll go first. Dingus. So. Alright, so if you guys didn't know yet, my name is Muhammad, and nobody knows this shit, but my middle name is Jawando, and my best friend's family, they like mushed those two together. It's Mojo's word already, but they mushed those two together, and they decided to call me Mojo, and that's how that's what they call me every single day whenever I talk to them and shit like that. And also, I figured that I needed a catchy name. Initially my YouTube name was gonna be some dumbass shit. It was gonna be called Muham. Fucking idiot. Yeah, I know. Don't laugh at me. It was gonna be called Muham. And then I figured that
got the most mean look on my face right
there. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck you?
Yeah. So
I tell you what, I wouldn't be co-hosting a podcast with no Muham.
Honestly, dude, I'm so fucking happy that the term Mojo just became a thing now. So yeah, I just combined those. I combined my first name and my middle name, and I smushed them bitches together. And I figured that would be catchy enough, and since no one is named, no one on YouTube. Well, actually, there's one dude. There's like 2 channels on YouTube. There's one big ass like movie channel called Watch Mojo or some shit like that. I didn't know it existed until I made my channel. And then there's also this other creator named Mojo too. He's like he's foreign or some most shit, dude. He's like a gamer or like he's a vlogger or some shit. But yeah, there's that dude too. But other than that, there's like nobody on this platform named Mojo but me. And yeah,
there's another Rusty Buckets.
Is there?
There's a guy whose channel used to be named Rusty Trumpet, and he changed it to Rusty Buckets. And he had like I had 100 subscribers, and he had like 1.1k. And I eventually just like this. I had never talked to this guy. I never knew anything about him. He was a perfectly fine dude, but I was just like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna surpass him in subs, and now he's at like 1.3, and I have 41,000. So
what a flex!
He's probably a nice guy, but suck my nuts. Anyways, so the way I got Rusty Buckets was, it's kind of a long story, but the short version of it is, in middle school I was in Boy Scouts just because my best friend was. I had no interest in being in it, but I was tired of him always being busy on the weekends, not being able to hang out with me, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just join the Boy Scouts. Literally was in it for 3 years and never earned 1 badge, so that showed my dedication.
F in the chat, 3 years, no badges? God damn, dude, you a dude shirt with no badge?
I didn't try. So, so I was a Boy Scout, and we had this camping trip, where it was, the campsite was just off of a landfill for some reason. And it was a landfill that was like wood and like tires and shit like that, so it didn't smell bad or anything. It was just like house parts thrown everywhere. And we decided to play Manhunt in the middle of the night, which is basically like hide and seek, but if you say hide and seek, it means you're gay, so you can't say that. By middle school logic. So
hey, you don't get some. Okay, go on. My bad.
So my brother's gay, so I get a pass there.
Oh, okay. I was about to say people in the comments. Oh my God, Rusty, homophobic.
Yeah, no. So everyone in middle school called everything gay. I think we all know that. That was my joke. But so we play Manhunt in the middle of the night. And keep in mind we're right next to this landfill at the campsite. So there's this wire fence that is up, and I'm running in a field. Like the grass is like up to my chest. And damn, I'm running through this field. How tall were you back then? I was over 6 foot.
Good Lord.
It was tall grass. So I was running through this grass, and there was this wire fence that was like pushed down, so I couldn't see it. So I'm running, and then I trip over the fence. I put my hands out, and there's still a scar on my hand from this. There is a wooden board with a nail sticking up right through it. And this fucking rusty-ass nail goes straight through my hand. And it...
Through your hand?
Caught me. Yeah. And it caught me
like
in the thumb.
Wait. You could see it, like, on the other side of your hand?
Yep.
Oh, fuck, F in the chat, goddamn.
Okay, so it went through, and then it went through the thumb part, which is the most, like, thick muscle part of your hand. So it hurt like a motherfucker, because it tore through a bunch of muscle fibers. But, so when that happened, since I was in so much shock, I barely felt it. I didn't feel it until the next day. They put me in a truck and turned on the air conditioning because I was sweating profusely from this shit. And as I was sitting there with this nail in my hand, because they were like waiting to pull it out until they got some medical supplies ready. So I was like sitting there like, oh shit, I don't know when I got my last tetanus shot. So I was like, oh shit, this nail is rusty. This nail is really fucking rusty. I'm gonna get tetanus. So while there's a nail sticking through my hand, what I'm worried about is the rust. So, and there's this thing in Boy Scouts, or at least when I was in it, that they always try to find a nickname for you. They don't like calling you by your actual name. I was in Boy Scouts for a year at this point, but I had no nickname yet because they couldn't think of anything that really stuck. For a while, they called me Butterfingers because there was this one time we were playing football and I could not catch the damn ball to save my life. But because the scout leaders found it so funny that I was so paranoid about the rust and not the nail, they decided that my nickname would be Rusty. So through the rest of middle school, my nickname was Rusty until I moved to North Carolina, where no one knew who the fuck I was, obviously. So I got the nickname Rusty, and then later on when I decided to create my YouTube channel, my favorite player in the NBA was Jimmy G. Buckets. G stands for Gets. So I combined the two nicknames between me and Jimmy Butler to be Rusty Buckets.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. That's lit. That's lit. Damn, that was a deep ass story, dude. Holy shit.
For a long, long while, I had pondered making my channel name JK2K. Because I was gonna do my league and my initials are JK. So yeah, that would have been.
Okay, that's
I'm glad I
catchy as
went
fuck.
with this. This is definitely a better name.
Yeah, it's straight. JK2K isn't bad either. If you ever decide to make a 2K channel, a separate 2K channel, you should go with that still.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah.
Alright.
So let's talk about the NBA Finals now. This is very fresh on my mind, obviously, because we literally just clicked record right after watching Kawhi win Finals MVP and Bill Russell look like he didn't know where he was.
Spurs fans sick right now. Sick as fuck right now. That's the first thing I gotta say about this finals.
So is DeMar DeRozan.
Exactly, dude. I was just talking to my little cousin about that.
Did you see Skip Bayless on Twitter?
What'd he say?
I just replied to him. I was literally like, just shut the fuck up, old man.
Yeah, that old lady. He ain't an old man. He an old lady for sure when it comes to LeBron, Kawhi, or any of these top notch players that he hates.
Said something like, "Congrats, Raptors fans. He's gonna leave you soon too." Like, stop being petty.
Hey, okay. Well, I mean, like, even if he did leave, he has the right to leave now. You know, he fulfilled the goal.
Yeah.
He has every single right to leave. He don't owe them nothing.
And we can go into that in a bit, though. So I want to get. Injuries were a huge factor in this series. I guess we can start with that.
I mean,
I open up the video that's going to be out tomorrow. Should have been out today, but my internet is shit. Open up a video with basically just me saying fuck anybody that was cheering for Durant getting hurt. Fuck all those people. If, let's say, Game 6 was in Toronto and there were fans cheering for that, for Clay's injury, I would have to go down to that arena personally and bitch slap every one of those motherfuckers. That shit pisses me off more than anything.
Yeah, dude. When Clay fell down, he was grabbing his knee. That just killed my vibe momentarily, dude, for sure.
I've never been so angry at just the world as a whole.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, seriously? You got to take him down too? One, because obviously you don't like seeing someone get hurt. And two, I'm like, I don't want this championship to have any kind of asterisks on it other than Durant. Like, if you throw in Clay getting hurt as well, it just looks real bad.
It's basically almost handed to you, you know?
Well, it's not handed to you, but it's definitely a lot fucking easier.
It's tossed to you, okay? Tossed.
Yeah.
I mean, but like almost every championship, you know, injuries do play a part of every single one of them. It's just that this one right here, it really like fucked with him.
Yeah, and the Warriors in the past have definitely benefited from people being injured because, you know, the Warriors would not have won in 2015 if Kyrie Irving had played. So I guess it kind of evens out, but still as a Warriors fan, obviously you have to feel sick.
Most definitely, dude. But I mean,
let's talk about Game 6 since it's the most fresh on our minds.
Okay.
They pulled a Chris Webber, but at the same time, that was kind of the only option they had.
Exactly. Yeah.
I bet you there are going to be people giving them shit for that, But it's like there was .9 seconds on the clock. They were all on the floor. There was nothing that could be done.
I don't even know
besides
why
like
that was
pulling
brought up
off
on Twitter.
but other than it being kind of funny,
Yeah.
that there's nothing you could do besides for pull that like 2K shot where you're on your knees shooting from half courts.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that would have been unbelievable had that happened and gone in.
Yeah, that.
And the refs didn't want that fucking game to end. It killed me when that foul happened, and like Kawhi went from like almost about to celebrate to straight back to business, like just in an instant. You could see it on his face.
Yeah.
Although
yeah,
you
dude.
couldn't really because his expression never changes that much, but you could still see it.
So right about that, dude. You showed no respect to the Hall of Fame
Kawhi's
CPU.
roboticness knows no ends. Like, even when he's celebrating, it looks like he's a robot that's like, what does it look like for a human to celebrate? Okay, I'm going to do that. Like, he looks like he knows he's supposed to celebrate, so he just goes for the most generic shit he can think of.
Honestly,
like, oh, I'm going to
dude,
yell
honestly.
and flex.
Dude, I also want to talk about that, man. That big body bitch, Kyle Lowry, dude.
Why you gotta
Kyle-
call him a big body bitch?
That's exactly what he is, and that's good. I'm proud of him, dude. He's been one of the most mean players, most like talked down on players in like the Twitter NBA community.
Low key, on the lowest of keys, and I do mean the lowest, Kyle Lowry kind of had a case for Finals MVP.
Yeah, you low key right about that. He had just on the lowest of keys. On the lowest of keys, you're right about that. I want
Just
bring
to
it up at all.
emphasize, it's the lowest of keys. But, yeah, so, I mean, with Kawhi in this series, Kawhi in rounds 1 through 3 was fucking absurd.
Yeah,
and for the finals, I feel like that kind of caught up to him, and he was dealing with a little bit of injury. Though his stats still looked pretty damn solid on paper and definitely looked better than Lowry's for the series.
He got
I would
the
say
most
that-
help out of his teammates. All of his teammates, actually, except for fucking Marc Gasol. That man is inconsistent as fuck. But but like when he showed up, they really needed it, and it paid off. But like, yeah, outside of Gasol,
But with Lowry, it feels like I talked about this in the second podcast with guys who just feel more impactful when they're scoring. Like Kawhi's scoring didn't feel that impactful, besides for the end of Game 5.
yeah, absolutely right about that. Absolutely right about that, dude. And with Lowry scoring, it felt really impactful because it was like,
Oh hell
damn,
yeah, it did.
this
Anytime
fuck-
Kyle Lowry
like-
scored, you were like, oh shit.
Exactly. Like, we're really fucked if you're letting him go, for real. This man over here hitting step back twos. Dude, he loves that inside the paint kind of not reverse, but fade away too.
Little fading jumper, yeah.
Yeah, he loves that shit.
You
And
gotta
he's running
respect
for him.
the shit out of Kyle Lowry after this series. You just
Exactly,
got
dude.
to.
Exactly.
This man has gone through so much. He's struggled in the playoffs for so long. He finally, after years of criticism, has an amazing series and wins a championship.
Damn, exactly, dude. This man showed up and showed out. He put his dick out of the table and he shoved it into every single person who was talking down in the mouth. He was
Okay,
out here
I don't know
doing
about-
his thing. He was
What's
doing
with the
his
metaphors,
thing.
man?
He
You
was
gotta
doing his
call
thing.
Lowry Big Boy Lowry, fucking shoving his dick in all of his haters' mouth.
That's exactly
We're gonna
what
have
he
to
was doing. I'm
put.
proud of that.
We're gonna have to put fucking parental advisory on the fucking podcast logo.
Dude, I for real hope no 12-year-olds or nothing like that. I got like little dudes who watch me and stuff like that, and I hope none of them hear me talking like this.
They'll be fine. Dude, do you not remember what it was like being 12? I was making dick jokes all fucking day. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you're right
so
about that.
let's after talking about Game 6, Game 6 had a crazy ending. It
There
just
was a
seemed
bunch
like
of uneasiness in the air.
yeah, I have never felt so much adrenaline in watching basketball other than the end of Game 7 of 2016.
Yeah.
And even with my own team, there's never been this much on the line for my own team for me to feel that much. For whatever reason, I felt like I was suited up at the court watching this shit going down.
Exactly.
Like
I felt like I
my
was
heart was
courtside.
pumping. Me and Mojo were like really tired before this. Like the day that we're recording this, I had gotten 4 hours of sleep, forced myself to go to the gym, and because I'd been slacking on the gym lately, I forced myself to work harder than I have in a long time. So I'm tired
That's
as
what I like to hear.
fuck.
Exactly.
I'm tired as shit.
But
But
you needed that adrenaline.
yeah, the end of that game gave me so much of a boost. I went from shit, are we gonna have to record a podcast to hype as fuck. So I'm in a mood to talk about this shit. So
Exactly.
do you have anything else to say about Game 6?
Yeah, dude, shout out to fucking Fred VanVleet and Siakam.
Oh, hell yeah, Father
Yeah.
Fred.
Yeah, dude, for real. That's I know that's a dope ass storyline that Fred had going on into the series.
Let me say this real quick. I call dibs on the Fred VanVleet documentary, alright? I'm doing this shit.
Hey,
I'm
do
totally
this shit
making
ASAP,
this.
bro, because I guarantee you someone within these next 3 days, you're going to see a Fred VanVleet video up there.
From undrafted to beating the Golden State Warriors in the finals. Boom.
I
That's a
guarantee
great
you someone's gonna
fucking
use
title. Put five arrows in the thumbnail.
Oh shit, you already know the keys. Yeah, exactly. And also, damn, yeah, shout out to Ibaka, dude. Serge Ibaka actually played well, you know. He didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
He didn't.
His jump shot has gradually disappeared at the start of his career. He didn't have much of one. Then he became like a borderline great mid-range shooter, and now he's gone to like
Yeah,
it's like you really want that guy shooting a jump shot
on the court. Yeah, I feel like his confidence on the court. He's one of those players who are like, their confidence isn't always at an all-time high and shit like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't taking as many jump shots in this series. He was great on defense, as you would expect. And then his offensive rebounding in particular. There were so many times where he would grab an offensive rebound and go up with that right hook, and it was money all the time. And he hit one of those with like 2 minutes left in the game. There were so many offensive rebounds where he went right back into the post, put that fucking hook up, money. So yeah. Ibaka was impactful. Kawhi Leonard was arguably the least impactful. If Fred was in the starting lineup for this game, then Kawhi was the second least impactful player in the starting lineup for Game 6.
Man, you finna get shit in the comments.
I mean,
dude.
it's true. It's true. Kyle Lowry,
on your ass.
Fred VanVleet, and Pascal Siakam all had better games in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
I mean,
hey, I love Kawhi Leonard. I love Kawhi Leonard. But that's just the truth.
I mean, like, okay, you could keep that statement to yourself, you know. I'm gonna respect it, but
You could back me up a little bit here.
Ain't no backing up with me. I ain't got you none of this smoke, boy. You can stay in that corner yourself.
Okay.
Stay away from me.
Do you got anything else for
I don't
Game
think-
6? Because I'm ready to.
I think his scoring, his impact on the court wasn't as loud as you would want it to be. That's how I'm gonna put it.
Yeah, for sure. But I still
But,
think he was the fourth best of the starters if Van Vliet started.
Man, that's tough.
And maybe
finna
the fifth best overall. Maybe even Ibaka just seemed more impactful to me.
Gee, okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Just slowly ruining my entire career. All right. So I guess we can, jump back to Game 1, and then go from there. So I would say Game 1 was pretty, standard. It was pretty much the same thing the whole way through. Like, it was like the Raptors had control, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I think that game set a lot of the tone for the series. Pascal Siakam had a great game, which was definitely the best game of the series for him. Kawhi Leonard played well. Kyle Lowry played well, at least to my remembrance. I'm actually going to look up some of the stats right here because I don't want to...
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
I forgot I had no internet. Never mind.
Oh, F in the chat. F in the chat. God damn it. How many times have you, like, fell for that today?
Oh, 20 times at least. I wanted to fucking take a break today and play some video games. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have any internet connection. It's fucking fun. Let's play some offline 2K.
Oh my god, that's the worst, bro. What you do? Play Blacktop? My league?
I have a My League that I play sometimes where I play as
Okay.
LeBron James from his first year in Miami and try to have him win like 8 championships. It's pretty fun, you know, but
Okay, I
yeah.
respect that. All right, like we were saying. Oh yeah, like I was saying, I don't remember. I remember game 1, but I don't remember any like specific details like that from game 1.
So from the jump in this series, I had Warriors in 7, and that was with the knowledge that Durant was out. Had I known Clay would get injured, and had I known that the Raptors had home court advantage, I probably wouldn't have said that, because I thought the Warriors had a better record than the Raptors this year, but apparently not. So so game 1 was pretty cut and dry. There was really no much of a question unless a run was going to be made about who would win that. So I'm going to look up the stats on my phone with mobile data.
All right, may take a minute. Stay patient, folks.
So if we can go over the stats here, for the series, let's see, is this including Game 6? No, it is not.
Yeah, I don't think it's including Game 6 yet. Yeah, they didn't
Basketball
load those
Reference
in yet.
doesn't have it yet. But before Game 6, I'm not sure what it would look like now, but maybe I should shut the fuck up, because Kawhi is averaging at 30, 10, and 4, and Kyle Lowry is averaging 14 and 7. Kyle on worse efficiency than 39%. Yeah, it'll look a lot better
For Kyle.
Yeah, it'll look a lot better after Game 6, but
Yeah, for sure.
Kawhi definitely deserved that Finals MVP. I just think Lowry had a case. Game 1, pretty standard shit. Game 2, that one was a bit closer, and I think the result was a little bit more up in the air, but I think it was, Golden State ended up coming away with that one off of a fucking, of all things, Andre Iguodala 3-pointer.
Clutch.
Which I never would have predicted.
Yeah, I remember that. One of the clutches.
Man, they left him open for a reason, and it's still, they fucking paid the price.
Exactly.
Also, underrated aspect of that game, when the Warriors were getting ready to make a shift in who was taking the lead and shit, Quinn Cook hit 2 clutch threes
Oh,
back
I
to back.
remember that, dude. I remember that. Yeah, those 2 threes were
And
cold-blooded
that got
shit.
so little traction. Like, no one was talking about that shit on Twitter. Like, after, like, they may have mentioned it at the time, but no one was talking about how key that was. Those 2 3-pointers were so huge for them.
Yeah, without those 2 threes, if those 2 threes ended up being bricks, then this thing may be over in like 5 instead.
Yeah, because I mean, by the math, it would have been 103 to 104, and the Raptors would have won. So, yeah. Let's see here. So Game 3 was that was Curry's 47-point game.
Beautiful masterpiece.
But the poor man's back was breaking, carrying that team.
Yep,
Without a doubt. Him
without play.
That game should be considered an all-time performance, because when you consider the way that the Raptors defense was playing that, if it's just Steph and then all those fucking bums that cannot shoot
70 overall,
their starting lineup was Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, DeMarcus Cousins, and Sean Livingston, and then obviously Steph. Dude. So DeMarcus Cousins and Andre are the only really okay 3-point shooters. Like, and that's a strong okay.
That shit gave me 2015 LeBron James throwback vibes right there. And LeBron had it worse, even worse than that too.
What's so funny is that the Warriors are always considered like, oh, they're such a great 3-point shooting team.
Yeah.
Obviously, their top 3 guys are all-time great shooters, but as soon as you remove those guys, it is the worst shooting team in the league.
Wait, you think they're the worst?
Oh yeah, 100%. Their best shooter, if you remove those 3 guys, is Quinn Cook. Then it's Jonas Jerebko.
Yeah, you're right, dude. Jonas is so fucking ass cheeks, dude. You're right about
Jonas
that.
Jerebko is a stretch 4 that can't shoot.
Extremely tough.
Can you imagine that shit? Literally, all he's supposed to be is a big man that can shoot threes, but he can't shoot threes.
And he's not even good at it. Yeah, useless basically.
Yeah,
because he's not good at anything else.
All he has is fucking a shitty goddamn facial hair, and that's about all he's got.
You jealous?
Going for him. Am I jealous?
Yeah, of his facial hair.
Even I got better facial hair than that.
Oh man, too bad I can't enter this conversation yet.
That man's got some blonde, wispy pubes off of his chin. This is not looking good.
Oh nah. So game 4, right?
Sorry,
was the
I
game
didn't mean to go in on you like that, Jonas.
Oh shit, no. And
so game 4, Raptors go up 3-1. Pretty handily by 13. Klay Thompson had a great comeback game, but Steph wasn't quite 47-point Steph. He had 27 on 40% shooting.
yoinks.
2 for 9 from 3.
Yoinks. Went missing.
I mean, a lot of these games were pretty standard, other than Curry's 47, but it wasn't a loss. But game 5 and 6 were nuts. So game 5, Warriors win by 1 point.
Yeah.
Comes down to a Kyle Lowry corner 3-pointer that Draymond Green blocked.
Yeah,
and I tweeted as the game was going on because Lowry had, let me look this up. Lowry had 18 points on 50% shooting, as well as 6 assists, and he was playing well. And I was like, I literally tweeted, like, shout out to Kyle Lowry for proving me and many other people wrong. And then he missed that, he gets blocked on that corner 3, and people are like, oh, this didn't age well. Like, he still played good. He just had his 3 blocked. It's not the biggest deal in the fucking world.
Exactly.
There was minimal time.
Exactly.
People making too big of a deal out of that. I thought it was dumb that people were roasting him for that.
Yeah, it was funny. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Kyle Lowry slander because that shit's some of the funniest shit on Twitter right now.
I more enjoy the people talking about his ass. I think that's funny.
Now you gay for that one. What's up with you, man? You got a thing for NBA players? First it was Malcolm Brogdon's voice. Now it's Kyle Lowry. You talking about Kyle Lowry's ass now, man? What the? Who did I start a podcast with, man? Look, hey, people in the comments listen to this right now. I'm accepting new podcast host applications. And Rusty Jacob, Rusty Dingus, that's your name. On my
how
phone.
many of them? How many of them have 40K subscribers?
Don't matter. Don't matter. It's all about the content. This shit dead. I did not sign up for this.
No, I wasn't saying I liked his ass. I'm saying I like the jokes on Twitter about it. Calm your shit.
Dude, I feel like we gotta
MVP.
talk about Draymond too, dude.
We talk about Draymond Green.
He fucked that shit up. Game 7.
We need to talk about Draymond Green,
Stats,
so in Game 6, Draymond low-key threw that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe even high-key.
Yeah.
First of all,
you have to watch the game.
He did get fouled on that one thing. Yeah.
You have to watch.
He got fouled on the turnover. I admit. I think everyone can agree. They saw it. He got fouled. And it should have been called. However, you do not sit next to the fucking ref the entire possession and just stare at him. Like, Green definitely could have impacted that possession that led to Marc Gasol getting fouled. He could have come from behind and gotten a steal. He could have blocked the shot in a way that wouldn't have been a foul. But no, his dumbass is over there fucking complaining about the turnover. That was, it was a foul. I get it. But first of all, if you're an NBA player, you really should not waste that much time complaining about fouls.
Exactly.
Especially because they can't change it. There's nothing you can do about that. It happened. It was called that way. That's the end of it.
Move on.
Now I get it. I get it during like the midst of a game because if you complain about it a little bit, maybe the ref will be like a little bit like, all right, I was wrong. I'll be a little more helpful to you. But if you're going to do that shit late in a game, late in the game, that was so fucking stupid. And then he comes back down and then turns it over again. It was terrible, man.
Yeah,
he fucking blew that
Those
shit.
closing minutes right there, that shit hurt him for real. Like, if you just look at his stat line, if the average NBA fan looks at his stat line, then they would just assume, oh, he had a great game. Wow, dude, Draymond dude really did his thing. And he did, like, for the most part, but towards the end when it really, really, really counted, he fucked that shit up. He fumbled the bag right there.
Green is generally like a good guy, good at making like winning plays.
Mm-hmm.
But that time he was very much contradictory to fucking winning right
He
there.
gets way too much in his
Especially when
head.
they needed him.
Yeah.
When Clay and Kevin Durant are out, the guy that really needs to step up, because you know Steph will, the guy that really needs to be more impactful is Draymond Green, and he was a negative at the end of that game.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins was more important.
Exactly. And that is wild as fuck, too. That is wild as fuck, too. Man.
We can talk about DeMarcus for a bit,
Yeah,
actually,
DeMarcus, man.
because that man thought he was getting a bag after this year and that he was going to get a championship, and he is getting neither of those
F's
things.
F's in the chat for real
That
for
is
him.
tough.
Exactly, dude. Well, lesson learned for him. Lesson learned for him. God damn, dude. I mean, so how do you...
He passed on 2-year, $40 million.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, just to get paid, what, maybe max, absolute max, $6 million a year from some other random team this summer. Wait, he probably resigns with the Warriors this summer, I feel like.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this team back. I think after that injury, Kevin Durant's going to probably just take his player option and just ride out the season injured and then come back and then look at free agency.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to play for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised with that outcome.
I only want to... Yeah. So I think we could see a very similar team this year, next year.
Mm-hmm.
Similar team from this year, next season. I do want to touch on this briefly, only briefly, because the video that I'm about to put out tomorrow is on this exact topic, just more in depth. So I was very annoyed with the hypocrisy of the NBA media's reaction, specifically Charles Barkley, and as well as other NBA fans, with Kevin Durant playing and getting injured. I don't know if you saw it, but Charles Barkley was like, I blame the Warriors, or I blame the Warriors. What other fuck? I'm not an impressions guy. He was like, I blame the Warriors for playing him. It was unfair of them to expect him to play after missing basketball for a month. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
He said after missing basketball for a month to put him into those conditions.
Hey,
So let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back to 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Rose is recovering from his ACL tear. He just gets cleared for practice towards the second round against the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
And he releases some statement about why he's not going to play. Basically like, I don't want to be at my child's graduation all sore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be old as shit and be in pain and shit like that. I don't know if you remember
I remember that
statement or not.
exactly.
But Charles Barkley was like, it is selfish and disrespectful of Derrick Rose not to play in the playoffs after being out for a fucking year. But when it's Kevin Durant and you have the hindsight of knowing that he tears his Achilles, it's unfair to put him out there after a month.
Man, I have no... Look, I don't think anybody should really take what Chuck says, like, take it with a grain of salt what he says. Nobody takes him serious. I think people just watch him for, like, the laughs, honestly.
I mean, but Charles Barkley is just an example of that, because there are other people that echoed a similar sentiment at the time who are saying the same shit now, I guarantee you.
Jeez Louise.
Everyone's using hindsight with that. I think all of us, I think Any of us probably would have been like, yeah, Kevin Durant playing Game 5. If he said he was good, if the medical staff said that he was good enough, we're all making that call. It's just unfortunate what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Steve Kerr said it was a collaborative effort, and he said if he could take it back, of course he could, but that's not how the world works. So, what was the other thing we were going to tackle? Oh, Kawhi Leonard's free agency.
Yeah.
So, I was going to make a video about if he should return to the Raptors. I think I still will.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Fuck no. Dip and do what the fuck you want. Leaving off like this right now is the perfect... It's a perfect like story signature moment in his like career, you know. Leave off on a good note, because after this season, let's be real. How confident are you in the Raptors like repeating what they do? Do you trust Kyle Lowry still to have something, to do something near what he did this postseason? I mean, what else is brewing up in Toronto after this season? I know Siakam, he's still like progressing. He's young as shit, and I know Fred VanVleet, you know. He's still progressing too, but outside of like those two, I mean like Marc Gasol, he's aging, and he like after this year he may get just even more inconsistent. I don't think he should stay at all. I think he should pack his bags and either goes to freaking the Clippers or the Lakers.
Well, I am sitting here with my jaw dropped because I didn't expect that opinion. At least with that much certainty. Because I think the general consensus from most people is that, you know, you don't leave the team that you just won a championship with. But if I was Kawhi, I think I would. I think I would look at my options and see like, hey, can the Clippers get me Klay Thompson? Can I go to the Nets and play with Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, I'd rather do
something like that.
Yeah, because
like, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big believer in like Pascal becoming a superstar player.
Yeah, I don't think he can become all-star for sure.
An all-star
for sure,
but I don't think he's gonna be nothing crazy.
Yeah,
essentially. And then obviously everyone else on this roster is getting older. They're not really getting any better unless you fucking think Patrick McCaw is gonna break out into a star.
We going for that four-time MVP, four-time NBA champion. That's what he's going for right now.
Yeah.
So
I saw Dom 2K said on Twitter that Pascal is gonna become fucking Robert Horry, where as soon as he goes to a team, they're guaranteed champions.
Oh shit, dude, that would be fucking wild. So you don't think that's a perfect like storybook ending to Kawhi's like to this chapter of his career?
Man, I don't know about, you know, storybook ending or anything like that. I think I don't know. How do you think Raptors fans would react to that?
They shouldn't give a fuck because this is the first title that they ever got. They better be grateful. What the fuck? Like, what do you mean? How would they react? They should be grateful.
I think they'd be happy about the championship, but it would feel a little empty and a little hard to root for Kawhi, just because it would be like almost feeling like being used. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like it would feel like Kawhi came here, got his championship, and he fucking dipped. He had no interest in sticking in this cold ass country.
I mean,
he said dual citizenship. Fuck that. Get that out of here.
I mean, he was brought there to do only like one thing and one thing only. And after this season, after this year, I really don't like believe and trust in the Raptors players specifically. Talking about that boy Kyle, I don't think he do this shit again. And Marc Gasol, I'm really like iffy on this man too at this age. I feel like after this season, there's like
I think this could very well be a 2011 Mavs where it's like, we just won that one, but it's not happening again.
Exactly. They are not repeating this shit again. Do you know how like, not to say lucky,
I think they could repeat next year, but I don't think they would do it a third time. I don't think there's any future past that.
Nah, I don't think they can repeat next year. I think that shit dead. I feel like Kawhi should just end this off on a good note. Walk out in the sunset.
I don't think Raptors fans would view it that way. I don't think I would view it that way.
So what they gonna do?
I mean, I'd be happy with the championship. No, I don't think they'd hate him. But I just don't think they would appreciate him as much.
I mean,
I mean, obviously, I would be glad that the whole thing happened because it'd be like, yeah, we got a championship out of it, but it would feel a little bit like you've been.
I mean, they
used.
better. Fuck it. If you've been used, you've been used. This is the first championship you ever won in your goddamn life. Like, fuck it. If you're gonna feel used, then okay. It just be like that sometimes. What did their previous franchise player do for them? Nothing. They ain't do nothing. And this man just has been there for less than a year. It's been like 10. He's been a Raptor.
Okay, I'll just put it this way. Kawhi Leonard is not going to become a beloved player in Toronto if he leaves. I think that's fair.
I mean, yeah. I mean, shit, he's the best player that they've ever had in their franchise's history. So I mean, like,
for sure.
So I mean, like, I feel like he will.
But there's not a crazy amount of competition.
Yeah, you're right. There's not a crazy amount of competition, but hey, it is what it is, and I feel like you know, I don't think. To me, if there are any Raptors fans listening to this podcast right now, they gotta let us know themselves how would they feel if Kawhi was to leave this offseason.
I think all of them would agree. Like, yeah, it's still a positive that he came here.
Exactly.
But, I mean, you can't really say no to that championship.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. So, like, what do you think is next for the Raptors at this point? You know, they got. Oh, let's talk about you, dude. Usai Ujiri, goated.
100%.
Freaking dub. He did something that a lot of GMs around the league are too pussy to do, and I respect him so much for that.
You know, I'll say I think 9 out of 10 GMs, if they see that Kawhi Leonard trade, they take it, even knowing the risk. But, I mean, he deserves credit for orchestrating everything up until that point.
Okay.
I think the Raptors consistently got better every year. Even though Dwayne Casey won fucking Coach of the Year.
Yeah, like little moves like that.
He knew that he was not a great coach. And I didn't really understand why. I mean, it took Dwayne like 6 years to figure out to like start moving the ball more. It took him that damn long to change up his offense. Like, clearly he wasn't that fucking good. Nick Nurse showed himself to be a great offensive mind as a rookie coach, and he himself has a very bright future.
Exactly, dude. That's why I respect him. Not only for like the Kawhi move, but all these little minor moves too. Trading away Jonas Valanciunas, who next year you could debate that he's better than Marc Gasol right now, but for like trading away Jonas Valanciunas to
in terms
Memphis,
of winning, I think Gasol is definitely better.
Yeah. For now, next year I think Jonas is gonna be way better than that man. But that's the thing. The Raptors, he went all in this year. A lot of GMs. You don't see a lot of teams go all in. You don't see a lot of teams go all in. The only other team to me that went like all in, or of course like Philly, they went all in this year, and like the Houston Rockets, they always go all in, but they always get smacked around and shit like that.
Yeah, and Nick Nurse deserves a lot of respect too.
Oh yeah, he definitely did a hell of a job.
He made a lot of. Oh, I completely forgot about this, so I'm glad I thought of it. Though Nick Nurse deserves a lot of respect, Game 5, that fucking timeout. I'm glad I'm not the only one that caught that, because I thought that was crazy. Because when I first tweeted about it, I didn't really get anybody else on my timeline was really saying anything about it. I got a few people like the tweet, but I was like, am I the only one seeing this shit? The Raptors have crazy momentum. Kawhi is going nuts. Off. And then that's like, all right, now let's call a timeout. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that was... I've never seen such a momentum-killing move in my life. And then, of course, the Warriors mount the comeback after that. Like, this game should have been done in Game 5. That timeout, to me, is the entire reason that Game 6 even happened. So yeah, that timeout was really dumb, but I mean, he still made good adjustments, even though he kind of cost them one of those games. Still made great adjustments, knowing when and when not to use Danny Green. One more thing from Game 6. This fucking dumbass Danny Green almost threw that damn game. He had the ball over half court, had one guy defending him. All you have to do is fucking hug that ball. Hug that ball and wait for them to tackle you. That's all you got to do. And he tries to throw it to Pascal, and they turn it over.
Throw a wild-ass pass to Pascal, too.
It was so dumb that he literally just had to sit there, and then he throws that pass and almost blows the game. Luckily, the Warriors weren't able to score off of that, but they very easily could have fucking lost the game off of that as well.
Did you see that stat of Curry being like 0 for 20? And I don't know what moment it was, but it was like 0 for 20 and like, I don't know if it's 0 for 20, but he was 0 for something in like 20-second or less like go ahead bucket moments. You saw that shit?
There will be no Steph Curry slander on this podcast, Mojo. I don't want to hear about it.
You talking about that man Kawhi Leonard like being like I know least impactful and shit like that.
Look, man, Steph has had a rough go of it for this series in particular.
Yeah, you're right. He was missing his left
when
hand.
When there's no one else that the defense has to worry about besides for Steph, it's so easy to fucking key up on him. You can't really blame him for it.
Yeah, that's
like if I'm the Raptors, my defensive game plan in the clutch is anybody but Steph Curry is taking that fucking shot. Anyone but Steph.
You're right.
He got a decent look at it towards the end of the game for a 3, I think, to tie it or take the lead. But I'm not going to blame him for missing that. One thing that was interesting to me was after that, Chris Webber moment at the end of Game 6, Steve Kerr and Curry just like stand next to each other and they both just kind of smirk at each other, just like, "Fuck, man." Damn, I guess we can actually lose. Apparently,
yeah.
I didn't know it was possible anymore.
They needed this loss, though. This loss kind of like let them know that people can fuck with them still. Shit can fuck with them. They're not the Golden Boys or whatever.
And I think this series also shows that no matter how talented you are, tiredness and fatigue and doing this shit year after year after year comes back at you.
Exactly.
I think the reason the Warriors had so many injuries in this series is because they're all fucking worn out.
And they've been playing for this long for 5 straight years. They've been playing in June for 5 straight years, dude. From October to June, 5 straight years. That is insane.
Like, I'm trying to think how many games in the playoffs they play each year, as well as the regular season, because it's a lot. The Warriors players play more games than most other. I mean, the Warriors in the last 5 years have played more NBA games than anyone else. Based off of just how that works, the Cavaliers would come second, obviously. Yeah, it's just absolutely nuts. Even if you're crazy talented, that fatigue comes back for you. That's why it was so ignorant when LeBron said, "Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8." Not 8.
People take that shit way too serious, dude. That was just to get the crowd piped. Brusty piped.
Okay.
Get the crowd lit. He wasn't come on now. I feel like you could tell by the tone of his voice that he wasn't that serious. Come on now.
I'm not trying to go into LeBron slander right now. I wasn't trying to do that. I'm just saying. Even though the Miami Heat looked like the most talented team ever at the time of those signings, everyone was like 8. Even if he said 4, we'll easily win 4. There's no such thing as easily winning 4 championships. I don't care how talented you are.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as doing that easily.
But you're right. You're honestly right about that. The fatigue caught up to them finally. And the injury gods literally raped them.
Yeah, exactly. The basketball gods have been on the Warriors' nuts for so long, and they finally hopped off.
Fucking slut, dude, honestly. And
these metaphors are getting fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Honestly. Yeah. But how would you rate this finals on a scale of 1 to 10?
There were some good games, but a lot of those good games were only because the Warriors were low on talent. I think this gets an even 5. Just because there were some good games, but there were also so many injuries that it kind of cancels out some of the goodness of those games, and there was also some mediocre games. And other than Curry's Game 3 performance, there was no all-time great performance in this series either. So
yeah, Yeah, you're right about
I
that.
think this gets an
You're right
even
about
5
that.
for
Oh,
me. It's not as bad as the last two finals because those were garbage.
yeah.
But
Yeah, those are. You're right about that. For me, I think I would rate this final series a good like either 6.5 or a 7, only because there are a lot of moments that like clutch moments that got me up out of my seat.
yeah,
No
that's
game
fair.
was a blowout. It was or
I
nothing
say
like that,
I want to
dude. They're
rank
all
them out of all
close.
the finals that I've seen. So my first
Okay.
finals was 2013. Obviously, that's a great damn first finals. Game 6, Ray Allen, James, his 3-pointer. Chris Bosh, the rebound. Back out to Allen. Bang. Shout out to Mike Breen. That was my first final. So that's a pretty damn good first impression. So 2013 was my first. So if I'm trying to rank best finals that I've seen in order, so it probably goes 2016 is number 1, then 2013, and then I guess it has to be 2015. 17 and 18 are towards the bottom. I
Man.
don't know if 2014 or this year. I don't know which one of those I put ahead. I think I probably put this year, just because 2014 there were really no close games in that series. They were all blowouts. So I definitely put this as
Cheeks.
the fourth best finals I've seen, but that's only because I've seen, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 7 of them.
That boy counted on his fingers.
I did.
Yeah, I feel, dog. I feel, man, I couldn't even rank them like that, dude. That'd be too tough for me to do. Way too tough for me personally to do.
So we just saw that Klay Thompson got injured. Well, we didn't see that. We saw that it was an ACL tear. So the mood of this podcast just dropped significantly.
Yeah.
We already had the knowledge of Klay Thompson, or of Durant's Achilles, obviously. But, I mean, this is just monumentally tough. When he held his knee, it reminded me so much of Derrick Rose. And literally, I said out loud to my dad, because I always watch these games with my dad. Shout out to the homie. I was literally like, fuck, I think that's an ACL. I'm by no means any kind of medical expert, but just the fact that it was his knee, the way that he landed and like his leg kind of jiggled, I was like, I feel like that's an ACL. It just reminded me of Derrick Rose so much. And I was like,
Now they have so many more like questions and shit to fill up now. There's so many questions in the air now that KD's gonna be out for a year and like Klay Thompson is gonna be out for dinner for a year too. It's like shit. Like now like as I was saying to you off of the podcast and shit like that. This man I know, like, I don't know if Warriors fans want KD back. It's now that like Klay is gonna be out too for a year. What do you feel about that? How do you feel?
as much as I hate to say it, this low key in the long term could work out for the Warriors. Like Klay getting an
You can't
ACL
lowball
tear,
Klay.
they might lowball him. They
No,
could.
fuck no. If you do that, he's signing somewhere else. Fuck
But
no.
who
Are you
else?
kidding me?
Who else is giving him max off of an ACL tear when you have no clue? Like
Dude,
Kevin Durant is so good that you know that you'll at least get a max worthy player. Klay Thompson could come back from this ACL tear and be like Spurs Danny Green, which is still a good. It's possible. Look what happened to Derrick Rose.
Good. That's not good. You just said Spurs Danny Green. That's not good.
I know it's not good. That's the reason why I think a team might be more hesitant to give him max. I understand a team not hesitating on Durant, even with an Achilles, which is a worse injury than an ACL.
Yeah, he's getting a max no matter
because
what.
even if Durant comes back as 80% of what Kevin Durant was, that's still a max level player. But I think Klay Thompson at 80% is not a max level player. So
I mean,
I think teams will be more hesitant, for sure, and that probably weighs in the Warriors' favor. As sad as that is to say, because I don't want it to go that way.
Yeah, I think Clay. Other teams are gonna put the pressure on the Warriors, and I think they're gonna be forced to give him the max. They can't let him walk. That shit. They can't let him walk because he's bound to have a statue outside of their arena one day.
I know.
Letting him walk with this, like, it'd be a shot in your foot. You know, you can't let this man walk off of. Fuck that. You got to give him that. You got to give him that max no matter what, just because of what he did for that entire franchise. You know, without him, there is no like Curry. There are no multiple championships and shit like that.
I mean,
he's gonna put these other organizations. Yeah.
How often do organizations be like, we appreciate what you did. Let me give you max money even though it was a gigantic risk. That doesn't actually happen as much as you would like to think. Dwayne Wade, when he was coming to the ends of his career with Miami, he was like, can you guys just give me like $25 million? I have been taking pay cuts my entire career. And their fucking GM was like, bye, fam. You go to Chicago, go to Cleveland.
That's different, though, because Wade was old as shit. He was old as shit.
That's true.
Clay is still at the, damn near peak of his career.
But if your argument is what he did before is the reason they'll give him that money, I don't think that's going to be a valid enough reason for them.
No, my argument is they're going to give him that regardless because other teams, they're not going to let him walk away. Other teams are going to put that pressure on him.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, I mean, think about that fucking luck. Two of your three best players, Game 5 Achilles, Game 6 ACL. What are the odds of that? That's like getting struck by lightning twice while getting fucked by a shark.
Dude, oh my god, dude, oh my fucking dude, that is so fucked, man. I feel, dude, now that news came out that it's an ACL and shit like that, now that just it kind of chips away, I don't like saying this, but it kind of chips away the value just a bit of the Raptors, this title that they won. This series is gonna be looked back on only because of this could be the end of their dynasty and shit like that.
Yeah,
it probably is the end,
It really takes the fun out of the dynasty potentially ending. That's what annoys me. Yeah, I have been waiting for this team to come down for so long, but not like this, man. Not even close to
exactly.
This. Nobody wanted
They're going out sad.
It wasn't a cunt. If you wanted them to go down like this, you were an asshole. But anybody
exactly. Now no more fun can be poked at them anymore.
I can't even really celebrate this shit. I just feel bad. We went into this podcast happy. We finished recording our reaction to the finals, and then this news came out, and we're like, all right, let's just add this shit into it. It's terrible. I just feel so bad, and I was in such a good mood 5 minutes ago until I saw my notification from Woj that he fucking tore his ACL.
Damn.
That's just so brutal.
Damn, bro. So if you're the Warriors, what are you doing? Tell me your moves this offseason. What,
I have no fucking idea.
Dude, so do you want Kevin Durant back? Would you press him to accept his player option? Or would
if I'm the Warriors as a franchise, yes. If I'm a Warriors and specifically Curry fan, not necessarily.
Okay.
Just because I would like to win a championship again without Durant, so it doesn't feel like those ones.
To be honest, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think you win another championship without Durant, and that is gonna that's gonna knock this man's not really destroy his legacy, but it's gonna be a little blemish on his career. People noticing that he can't win another ring without.
Hey, I'll tell you this though.
I feel like he's not gonna get another one.
Imagine the script is flipped. Imagine Durant has been playing this whole series and Curry hasn't.
Ouch.
Think about how the narratives flip there. It's literally just about who gets hurt. Because I guarantee you the result would be the fucking same. Kevin Durant would be playing great, but it wouldn't be enough, and people would be saying, "Oh, Kevin Durant can't win without Steph." But because Durant is the one that gets injured, Curry is the guy that gets slandered.
No. I don't think people are slandering Curry because of that. I mean, I think he's gonna receive slander. Not right now. He don't deserve any right now. He's gonna receive slander once people start to realize. I don't think he's gonna win another championship without Durant, a healthy Durant on his team. You know, that's what I'm saying.
I think it's possible Klay Thompson comes back healthy, and then they bring in some depth again, and they redo what they did in 2016, and just hopefully don't fucking blow a 3-1 lead.
But dude, this championship right here. Oh yeah, I also wanted to touch on this too. Like, let's say like Klay doesn't get hurt and shit like that, and like Curry and Klay they go bonkers, which was damn near about to happen if that tragic incident with Klay didn't happen at the end of the third. But like, if they were to like do their thing and win this game and then win that game 7, this would have been like low key one of the best championships ever.
Yeah,
like,
my dad. I don't
agree.
I don't agree, but my dad said that he thought, if the Warriors made this comeback, it would be better than the Cavs 2016 comeback.
Oh, fuck no.
But my dad is a low-key LeBron hater, so I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, yeah.
He's just an old head MJ stan, which you kind of have to understand. He's
okay,
a
yeah,
Bulls
makes
fan
sense.
from
Makes
the
a lot
90s.
of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
He still acknowledges he's
bro.
a top 2 player of all time, and it's close. So.
Okay. Did you beat that into his head? Did you have to beat that into his head though?
For a
like
while, but he kind of came around to it on his own.
Okay, bet.
But yeah, man, we kind of got to end this podcast on a sad note, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson goes out with an ACL tear. Kevin Durant has an Achilles, both potentially career-altering or even borderline ruining injuries.
The fun of this dynasty potentially coming to an end is fucked.
Right before their free agency is coming along, the Warriors dynasty comes down in the worst way possible. So yeah, that's the HoopsCast.
Have a good day, man. Oh, if you reached this far into the podcast, I want you to comment in the comment section, Rusty Sus.
What?
Rusty Sus. You heard what I just said. Hey, I ain't forget about the conversation that we had like an hour ago, dude. This man was talking about freaking LeBron James ass, Kyle Lowry. Like,
okay, anyways, subscribe to the HoopsCast on YouTube. Follow on Spotify and iTunes and all of that. Assuming they're up on all platforms now. Might not be. Waiting on some emails. We'll find out. So, yeah, thanks for watching the HoopsCast, and see you later.